So Jesus is very unequivocal about that issue. When we judge, judgment comes back to us. Sometimes we use that simple picture. I point one finger at someone else, but three of them are pointing back at me without a question, without a shadow of a doubt. Judgment will come back to me, he says clearly. And he says more about it too. So welcome to the simple truth from the Word of God. Here in Matthew 7, after saying, "Judge not that you be not judged," he continues, "For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with what measure you measure out, it shall be measured to you again." So, so there is a lot of force in that, and a lot of power in that, and it's just underlining that same thought that we have been mentioning. That judgment, being judgy, it brings a curse and a problem and trouble into our lives. If you feel impelled to judge someone, to throw penalties around and saying, you are this way and that way and you deserve this, be wary of that, because that's not a small thing. It's going to come back to you sooner or later. You're going to experience it, and will really, God help us and protect us from that, because that's going to be some really, really bitter fruit. And here Jesus is saying, "For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged." So that's interesting. Basically, he's saying that the same judgment that I give out comes back to me. And why is that? Well, that seems to implicate that what I see as a problem in you, or you see a problem in me, that same problem is there in you, without question. Maybe, this is interesting. I see a problem in that person and I judge them for it, and maybe that problem is not even there in them. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting their motives. Maybe I'm just saying that person is a money monger, And maybe I'm only saying that because I am that way. And that's the key point here, that I cannot see a cause for judgment in someone else that I do not have in myself. Because how could I see a problem that I don't understand? How could I see a problem? How could I see an issue that I myself am not accustomed with? It's not a theoretical exercise. No, it's something that I know in my life, and that's why I believe it's there. But I could be wrong. I'm saying that person is jealous, but perhaps I'm only thinking that because I myself am a jealous or envious person, and that's why I think that person is envious. So this is what the Lord is saying. He's warning us. The judgment you give out is the judgment that you're going to get back, because it's definitely in you. It is definitely something that is your problem. So you should just hold back on that whole thing, because it definitely will come back on you, because it's definitely present with you. So that I believe is a very challenging thought. And I remember when I understood that long time ago, last millennium, when I was a young believer, I understood that, learning in my church and going to Bible school, and thank God for my teachers, and I remember just reading that and finally understanding why it's that way. With what measure you measure, it shall be measured to you again. Of course, because I have that same problem, and God is saying, okay, you gave out this penalty, this punishment, then this punishment is due for this kind of problem, in your opinion. So what else should you get back than what you deem to be due for that problem? What you believe to be just and correct penalty for that problem, obviously that's what should come back to you. So God is just being righteous in giving me what I have given out. Ooh. That's not a place where I want to live my life. And thank God for the teaching of grace, and thank God for the teaching of the truth of greater grace in the Bible. In James 4, he gives greater grace. This is so important for us, because that is the place where I am saved from all these dire consequences of my foolish judging or my foolish thinking. And I just want to encourage you to learn so much about grace and the grace of God. So God bless you with that truth for today. I trust we meet here soon again.